This is a review of the movie Ad Astra. It came out in 2019, and I remember seeing scenes from it, and I really wanted to check it out. But 2019 was actually a really bad year, not just because of the stuff we all ended up dealing with. Lots of issues going on that probably just interrupted any idea of going to the movies. So, let's talk about this. The movie is visually stunning in the best way. Probably one of the best looking science fiction movies to date. Uh, Mind you, I haven't been watching as many movies as I had been in the past, but yeah, I can't think of anything that jumps out like this. Main stars Brad Pitt, Tommy Lee Jones, Donald Sutherland. Uh, you basically got actors that are virtually kind of infallible in their ability to pull the movie off. So, talking about like the aesthetic of the solar system, what everything looks like. So, imagine like if you saw some of like the really super high quality imagery from like Pioneer, Voyager, or Cassini doing the various planetary flybys. Imagine that on the screen in front of you, and then having the ships and the astronauts interacting with that background. That's the kind of feel you're getting, and definitely wish I would have seen that on the big screen because it's good just on the small screen, as it were. We're talking about like the ships, the way everything looks, the way the tech looks. It's really well done. Definitely a high budget movie, all sides. Um, Yet, in some ways, the tech doesn't seem as advanced as you would think of a civilization with bases on the moon and Mars. There's nothing that looks futuristic. Everything looks like it could be next year. I mean, so, and that has an interesting effect two ways. I mean, because in one way, it seems like this could be happening right now, really, really soon. But at the same time, there's certain elements of it where you're going, you think we'd have a little bit more to be able to pull this off. But that second thought may be just me. Now, the thing that kind of jumps out is the vibe. The whole vibe of the movie is kind of like NASA Apollo meets 2001. And if you look, virtually everything in the movie really gives you the Apollo mission feel. Um, the astronauts, spacesuits, the space capsules, the way they decide to just do everything, typical, three-stage rockets, uh, the under almost like the wrestler headgear that you always saw the Apollo astronauts wearing. So everything really has that feel. So I mean, it's so Apollo-ish that it's almost retro, but not. So so yeah, tech wise, I mean, it's not off-putting or anything like that. It's just it was it's driven home very strongly. Clearly, it's incredibly deliberate, and they're probably doing it to give it the most realistic flavor, and probably trying to avoid a futuristic look, so it does look like, yep, we can do that now, or really, really close to now. So, I mean, in general, it's it's a big budget movie that doesn't feel like a big budget movie. I mean, everything looks fantastic, but there's a certain low key way everything goes on in the movie. So it's not like you would expect earlier things where, let's say, a special effect of some sort is occurring. Uh, Instead of it being like the camera zooms in to show you the special effect, it's just something going on. It's part of the background. It's part of what's going on. So it's integrated. Uh, so one of the things that is a little bit odd for the movie. Um, Now, again, Brad Pitt, Donald Sutherland, Tommy Lee Jones, fantastic actors. All the supporting actors and actresses. Uh, there's nobody that stands out where you go, oh, what did they put that person in here for? Everyone did a great job, but they did kind of a weird thing with how they did the acting. It's a very low key style of acting, kind of withdrawn, a narrow emotional range. In a way, it almost reminded me of the old Dragnet series or the old Emergency series, where uh, Jack Webb had that idea that people talked in this very monotone and deliberative way of speaking with very little excess. Excess things. Everything was said was very deliberate and to the point, and advanced the narrative. In a way, the way people talked almost had kind of the NASA comm feel to it, where it's like the way the astronauts talked to mission control and to each other and stuff across the radio. That's almost the way it feels to me. And I don't want to get the idea that it's bad, it's just different. Once you realize it's happening, you're going, okay, it's there. And it's very deliberate. I mean, it's not like the actors aren't putting their effort in. It's like they were told specifically, you're in this emotional range, that's where you stay, and they do a good job. But like I said, it'll grab it'll catch your attention. This movie is not in any way woke. There is no message. Um, as I said, things seem like the near now. The physics are solid. It's probably on par with what you might expect from The Expanse. Everything, I didn't see anything that jumped out at me as completely off in terms of physics. I might need to do a rewatch, maybe just to see if I was too engrossed in the movie to spot things like that. Now, in terms of the universe they live in, there's like tantalizing hints of some sort of political upheaval that occurred on Earth. And there's clearly some form of political balkanization that's occurred on the moon. But the references to them are so incredibly fleeting that you're like, whoa, 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 let's get a little bit. You don't have to you know, give us 10 minutes of exposition, but throw a few more hints at us so we can go, oh, okay, that's what was going on there. So I would have loved to hear more on that, but they don't. And I kind of suspect that these political situations really have no timeline to them. There's no background or meat to them. They do kind of feel, especially the situation on the moon, which I won't get into too much detail. It seems like they had a set piece they wanted to do there, and in order to make the set piece work, they had to create the political situation. And they didn't put a lot of thought into it. They just said, okay, here's the political situation that justifies this set piece, and here you go. Now, there are three high action sequences built into the movie. So, most of the movie, you're having characters interact in a way you'd expect them to very realistically. Like, this is not a, you know, a you know explosions, chase scene. Well, and these exist in the movie to an extent, but it's not. It's not like it's going constantly. You have the the intermediary uh, narrative, the plot that moves along. Uh, it's exactly what you would expect out of a NASA-esque organization that has pushed out as far as it has and appears to be slowly working its way to continuing. Um, so you have all the professionalism, and there isn't a lot of things jumping out at you. But so the action sequences um, are huge contrast because it's like, okay, here we are. It's like, hey, we're heading over here. And they're doing that stuff, and it's all going kind of slow, and everyone's, even if they make a joke, it's very muted, and then the action sequences take place. So they really stand out because they're so much different than everything else that's going on. The first action sequence on the moon really seems like it was shoehorned in. Um, and that might be just because I wanted to hear more of the background of what caused the politics to make this possible. Uh, but I don't know. It doesn't seem holistic. It doesn't seem like it was. It naturally spawned in there. It seemed like they had a set piece, and they were going to figure out how to put it in there. Um, the second conflict is almost jarring because it's kind of unexpected, and the source of where it comes from is very unexpected. Uh, I almost wonder if people probably laughed a little bit in the audience when they saw it in the theater. The last one, the last major like conflict where we have physical activity, that one felt pretty natural. It was really well choreographed. It fits with what's going on, and yeah, there's kind of a you know basically people were given some just a stupid set of orders, and it's kind of this please stop, make it stop, and it basically plays through whether you want to or not, and that part feels pretty good and natural. Now, the movie almost has like a melancholy feel to it. Here you got this civilization that's expanding through the solar system, uh, and definite hints that they're working diligently towards the idea of heading for the stars. But it doesn't have an urgency. It almost seems like, all right, yeah, we're planning here in 10 years from now. We'll start a colony out here, and we'll slowly start doing. So it's got this. Um, it doesn't have this sense of vibrancy in terms of the civilization. Uh, Odd. I mean, a growing civilization should feel vibrant, but this one doesn't for some reason. And that may be just an artifact of the acting range that was chosen for this. Once the nature of everything is determined, essentially the movie opens with here's a cataclysmic threat to us all. And then you slowly work up to like, okay, we have kind of an idea what's going on, but we don't know why it's going on. And so you have this kind of tenseness building up. Why is this happening? What's going on here? What's going to happen when we get the big reveal? And when we get the reveal, basically the tension goes from, to like nothing instantly. And uh, it has a kind of an anticlimactic feel to me. Now, the good acting and outstanding visuals carry through absolutely from beginning to end. So I consider this movie definitely worth a watch. If I heard it was being re-released in the theaters, I might seriously consider going to a theater just so I could see it on the big screen, because I imagine what I got out of it looking at my tiny screen uh, would be a wonderful experience, seeing it in the theater. It's not something I would go see again and again, but I don't feel like I wasted my time watching it. All right, that's what I've got for Ad Astra. Uh, did you see Ad Astra? Uh, Tell me what you think about it in the comments. If you are going to spoil anything, please give a spoiler alert in case somebody watches this and says, "Hey, I'm going to go see Ad Astra," and then you kind of give away some of the more surprising elements to the movie. Uh, so yeah, I'm definitely interested in hearing what you thought of it. If any of the things, if you saw the saw and felt the same things I did, and if not, well, give me your spin on it. I'd be interested in hearing it. Uh, Please smash the like button. If you have been brought to my channel by the YouTube algorithm and are not one of my regular subscribers, take a look at my content. I do a lot of different things: politics, philosophy, uh, current events, and obviously, I also review a little bit of movies and TV. Please consider subscribing. Uh, and ultimately, if you know somebody who might find this video interesting, please share it with them. All right. Well, I appreciate you spending time with me this evening. Hope to see you again in a future video.